Welcome everybody to DisruptEDtv, where every little idea could make a big difference potentially in your classroom or in your school. We have two wonderful guests with us today, Mike Halloran and Giovanna Cristiano Hansen with the U.S. Army Mid-Atlantic Recruiting Battalion. Mike, you're in public affairs, and Giovanna, you are the Education Services Specialist. Is that right? Do I have that right?
Correct.
Great.
Correct.
Well, the disruptive idea that we're exploring today is how a school or a school district or a school board could partner with the U.S. military, the U.S. Army here in particular, in order to improve the experience of education in their schools. So maybe we can start with just that as a broad exploration. How is it that you help schools?
Well, I guess the educators most of the times don't think of us. They don't think of the U.S. Army as a possible education partner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the first thing that comes to their mind.
Mm-hmm.
So they may be surprised actually when they see us at certain education events, or they want like, why are you, what can you really do for us, or why are you actually here?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we strive to do, and as the education specialist for the battalion, I'm try to connect with them and trying to inform them of what we actually have for them. The Army is very committed to education,
mm-hmm.
and not only in as far as investments actually in certain programs, but locally here, our battalion, we're available. We have a lot of subject matter experts that can help with student achievement,
mm-hmm.
career planning. So we have personnel that can help,
mm-hmm.
and we also have, we have assets that we can bring to schools, but we also have education programs that are free of charge that schools can use to help with student achievement. Just to mention a few, and then we can maybe
Well, we're definitely
later.
going to explore those in detail.
But we do have programs that schools, students, and families can benefit from.
And that's that to me, that's important. So the U.S. Army provides resources, personnel, exhibits, things, objects, learning experiences
Yes.
that for all levels of education. Is that right? That we're talking from
All
kindergarten
related
all the
to
way through
education.
college.
We can support and we can, coordinate events pretty much for K
For
through
just about any
12.
level. Uh-huh.
We probably predominantly work with middle schools and high schools.
Great.
Okay.
But we can attend events and support at other grade levels.
At whatever
as
levels.
well.
I mean, if somebody has a
Sure.
question, they can call you and explore the
We
possibilities.
have attended, we have supported some of those
That's
events.
exciting, and it doesn't cost them anything, and there are no strings attached, which
There are
is
no
very
strings
important to get
attached.
out on the table right now, which kind of shifts the conversation over to Mike.
Mm-hmm.
When people see U.S. Army military uniform, they start thinking you're going to be recruiting my kid. But that's not what this is about at all.
Correct.
Okay. Talk about that a little bit, because I think that's a misconception that needs to be cleared up.
Right. So, from the Army's angle, we really want to increase education throughout the community. We want to be seen as a resource, and we have so many different assets to do that, as Giovanna pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
None of this requires any type of commitment through the Army. By helping the community, it helps the military. By having smarter kids in the community, we have smarter soldiers.
Mhm.
So these programs, all the money that the military offers to increase the education levels in our communities, it really helps us to get those great cyber defenders, those great soldiers that we want really protecting our country. So that's a big part of what we're trying to do. But with that said, there is no commitment. We just really want to get the information out there. That's really, we want the schools to understand, we started this partnership with the New Jersey School Board Association to make sure, the main reason was to break down the walls and the paradigms.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a soldier directly at the School Board Association so he could be the intermediary between educators and the military. Let's break that wall down and let people understand that we are really here as a resource. We can help schools save money by providing soldiers that have the training and requirements, by providing anti-bullying campaigns, by providing other assets. That's really what we want to do.
You know,
So what
that's-
happens is the Army's going to be a resource for providing more academic excellence.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, really, it's commitment to academic excellence, and if it turns out you get a recruitment out of it,
Right.
well, but that's the person's choice in
Right.
conjunction with their family. Not
Exactly.
forced, not required, not even implied as required. You don't even head down
Not
that
in
road.
any way. So the main thing that we want to do is by having recruiters, soldiers, every recruiter is a soldier. They're not, their main job in the Army isn't to recruit.
Sure.
That they joined the Army for another purpose. They were selected to come here to recruit.
Okay.
And all these soldiers were selected because of their good qualities as a soldier. So, but when they're at events, they are truly there as a mentor or a teacher or some type of role model at the schools. If a student then decides, you know what, I like where the sergeant is going. I like his background. I like his enthusiasm. I want to do something like that. That's what we're trying to get out of it as well. It isn't this, we're going to the schools and we are like, okay, sign up here and we're going to start contacting you to join the team.
Yeah.
And
Not at all. I mean, it really isn't about that. See, that
Right.
to me, that's what's so. By the way, you're both great examples of the fact that there are civilian careers in the military as well.
Correct.
So I mean, the truth is, you're both civilians and you work for the U.S. Army.
Yes,
so
that's right.
so the U.S. Army really is just another alternative. It happens that it has a good deal of money and a lot of resources, and that money and those resources could be applied in the classroom in New Jersey or wherever you are, for that matter. And in partnership. And Giovanna, I guess that tosses a conversation back to you.
Sure.
What are some things you can do for me as let's say a fifth grade teacher?
Well, in particular for elementary, grade levels, we do have some STEM programs that we start actually K through college level. We have, at the national level, the Army has invested in a lot of STEM programs. So whether a teacher wants to do some professional development for their career, there are opportunities to do so. Or if they want their students to get involved in some competitions, there are some, again, STEM competitions or summer camps available for that level. But as I mentioned, there are different programs for different grades level as well.
Okay.
That program is called, in particular, the Army Educational Outreach Program, AEOP, and we can provide the website and anyone.
You brought some brochures with
Yeah,
you, and
I
I know.
did.
Well,
This
let's
is
not.
the
I'll tell you what. We'll do that
actual
after the break
program.
because I want to dive into some of
so-
those in detail.
But at the same time, if they have a career fair, we, definitely our recruiters will be more than happy to attend and share their experience with the kids.
Oh, that's great. Okay, now we're coming up on a break, but right after this break, we'll be back with two terrific guests, Mike Halloran and Giovanna Cristiano Hansen from the U.S. Army Mid-Atlantic Recruiting Battalion. So we'll be right back after this.
Don't go anywhere.
Our culture is what we believe in, and our brand is what we do in our work. When our brand and our culture are in alignment with each other, we become more than just good. We become excellent. Think of this alignment as a mix of flavors in our water cooler. When we gather around and drink it ourselves, we're savoring our culture. When we serve it to our friends and neighbors, we're expressing our brand. So, what's in your water cooler? For groups of all kinds and sizes, our brand and culture alignment toolkit will provide you with a unique water cooler recipe that expresses and makes you the very best at what you do. It all starts with a simple, affordable 20-minute online survey. Completely confidential, you can take it whenever suits your schedule. Within 2 days, you'll receive a BCAT report that expresses your team's signature brand and culture in plain English and includes simple exercises that will help align your team's leaders, stakeholders, and members.
Planning a large-scale event or conference? Consider Brookdale Community College and its versatile Collins Arena. The Collins Arena is the premier venue for all kinds of corporate and community events. Live concerts and celebrity happenings, trade shows and expositions, sporting events and tournaments. The Collins Arena has countless layout options to meet your needs. Bring your next event to life at the Collins Arena at Brookdale Community College. Go to brookdalecc.edu/events and start planning your next event now.
Welcome back to DisruptEDtv. My name is Al Senior.
I'm still Joe Asamendi.
Don't
Always a
you ever
pleasure.
change.
No, I thank you.
But Joe, we've got two terrific guests here. Really great talking to Mike Halloran and Giovanna Cristiano Hansen from the U.S. Army. And we're talking about how the U.S. Army partners with schools. And what's exciting to me about this is a teacher can call you if they've got a program that they want to do next Tuesday. Or a school administrator can call you if they're driving a curriculum change, mostly, let's say, around STEM, and they'd like to include resources from the Army in that curriculum change. So you can get as involved as the school wishes.
Correct.
At whatever level. And you mentioned, Giovanna, you mostly concentrate on, let's say, middle school, high school.
Correct.
Because I think that's where your resources fit the most. But,
Yes.
Mike, you made the point that there are programs also all the way down to kindergarten level available as well. So from my point of view, the wide range of services that you offer would be exciting to me as a school, especially considering it doesn't cost me anything.
Free.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just
Exactly.
really great. So stuff. Talk to me about some of the stuff.
Well, we have different, as I mentioned, programs that can help with student achievement, free of charge, no obligation to the Army for using them, because that's sometimes maybe a problem for some schools or parents. So let's say we want them to improve their grades in in the verbal, English, math, or science area. We have a specific program that the Army is sponsoring. It was developed by Peterson. I'm sure educators are familiar with that agency, and it's specifically an SAT, ACT prep course that's available. So anyone 13 years old and older, of course, is free to use. It's self-paced, web-based, so it's very, very easy to use. That is the brochure.
Is that March to Success?
It's called March to Success, and we are available. Our recruiters, myself, we're available to assist with the programs. If teachers are, of course, free to use on their own. They can use for extra credits, or if they want to give additional work to students to practice on and improve their grades in school, or if they if the school would like actually to set up a March to Success club. That's an idea, and some schools have actually done it. And what we can do to help is we can be there as facilitator. So we would be there once or twice a week, whatever the school suggests. We go with whatever the school needs. Whatever their needs is, we try to meet that. And so having a March to Success club could be an idea to motivate students as a group to meet and work on that. It was developed specifically for the SAT and ACT, but it could be beneficial for whenever they're preparing for any standardized test, including
definitely.
the ASVAB test or the AccuPlacer for college level.
And this is really in keeping with what Mike was talking about in the beginning of the program and in the first segment, and that is, it's about making kids as much as they can possibly be, because as they grow up, that's not just good for the Army, that's good for the society in general.
Exactly.
So it's really all about getting kids focused on building a successful career for themselves over time by starting with a successful educational experience, which you help them with, and don't charge them any money, and don't put any strings or obligations or attach any restrictions on this.
Correct.
That is just so cool.
I'll add just a couple comments about March to Success.
Please.
As an educator or a parent, it also allows the capability to track your students' progress. So that's something they could do if it's part of the curriculum or one of these clubs. Also, we have we have success stories. Students who use this program to increase their scores, whether on the ASVAB, the ACT, SAT. We have students who have done that. So we could help facilitate in that manner as well to show how this program is effective.
Oh, that's great. How do kids react to this? What kind of response do you get from kids?
Well, I think the kids are most of the times pretty excited and open. Our challenges comes more with administrators or parents.
Okay, and
So
why is that?
our goal is it's the perception that I think it's widespread, and especially in the Northeast.
The Army.
About the perception about the Army
Yeah,
or
okay.
programs that we may offer. So they may be a little skeptical about, or not as open as,
Right.
in using them.
Right.
So that's our struggle, and that's our challenge. That's
Sure.
what we've been trying to do, educate parents and educators about what we have, and really trying to establish an open and honest communication with them, because we want to be partners. And by us working closely and authentically with the community,
Mm-hmm.
then they can see the value for themselves, whether
that's-
this is a worthwhile career for
Sure.
some of their students, because it's not going to be good or fit for everybody.
That actually is a good way to tell a story. If we start with a parent that might be a little reluctant because
Exactly.
they never imagined a career in the military for their child, and they're afraid that this might be proselytizing, but then their kid goes through it, and they realize this is not about joining the Army, this is about giving their child an experience that makes them better. How do they react to that? I mean, generally, do you turn people around pretty much with this? Or?
Actually, the trend is changing. I think we're slowly changing the paradigm, and thanks to the great relationships that we've been building with the NJPTA, for example. So
Good.
they're very supportive.
The School Board Association.
The PTA.
Oh, the
you know,
PTA,
parents-
okay, right,
But
okay.
of course, the school boards.
The
they've
school
been
board I know is
probably-
a big partner of yours.
Of course, the school
And
boards.
the
is-
PTA?
The PTA,
Uh-huh.
we have some school counselors. The School Counselors Association has been supportive throughout the years.
Good.
Skills USA is another association in the state.
The Department
pretty
of
much
Education,
for CTE schools. So
Mm-hmm.
we have great support from that. And also at the department level, we've been working with the Career Readiness Office very closely. So we're very glad of the
So-
partnerships that we're
Like
building.
any good idea or concept, it just has to be repeated.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
People cannot.
That really is
learn
it.
what
I'll add a
you're
couple
doing.
comments too.
Sure.
For March to Success, again, just there is no back end system like, oh, if my child puts their name in this and signs up, now the Army gets a lead or some
Right.
workaround contact.
Right.
There's no system built in for that. This is solely in place, as we talked about, to help increase education. We want smart kids. We want kids to get accepted to colleges. We want them to increase their test scores.
Right.
Because we want smarter kids in general to fulfill these roles that we need, like cybersecurity and information technology, all the medical career fields, over 50 of them in the Army. We want people to fill these roles that are succeeding. So that's why this program is in place. So when we're talking to educators, we want to tell them, hey, look, you're spending upwards of $2,000 or more for different programs at your school to help with these scores. Or as a
Right.
parent, some parents spend $1,600 for SAT, ACT prep, or whatever,
more.
or
Right.
more. So, hey, it's a resource.
Okay.
Maybe you don't want to use it, but it's available to use.
Well,
So-
we have to take a break. When we come back though, Mike, Mike and Giovanna, what I'd like to know more about are the broad range of programs that are available. You mentioned medical, you mentioned cybersecurity, anti-bullying, which is interesting. I'd like to know more about that. I think
Yeah, sure.
our audience would too. So we'll be right back after this break.
Yeah, stick around, we'll be right back.
Thank you. How do you feel that?
Just like you, my world was always full of big dreams. Dreams of what I could learn and who I could be. Well, the roadmap to those dreams? It starts here. AEOP is the Army's educational outreach program. It's a place where students like you can take advantage of exciting science, technology, engineering, and math programs. AEOP provides Army-sponsored research opportunities, competitions, internships, and unique learning experiences, working alongside Army's world-class scientists and engineers. The programs take place in state-of-the-art labs and research facilities across the country, as well as online. AEOP is designed to ensure America continues to be a technological leader in a globally competitive world. And it's designed to help you reach for the stars and grasp those big dreams. It starts here. Learn more at usaeop.com.
Welcome back to DisruptEDtv. My name is Alcini,
I'm Joe Osamendi.
and our guests from the U.S. Army are Mike Halloran and Giovanna Cristiano Hansen. And they're talking today about how your school, your classroom, you as a teacher, you as a school administrator could partner with the U.S. Army to broaden the range of educational opportunities for your students. And these programs are a surprise to me. I didn't know about them. And it's a real honor for us to be able to bring this message forward to the people watching our program. So we appreciate you having you here. And I want to talk about the range of educational opportunities that you represent. Now, it's obvious you're in the Army, so you've got stuff, equipment, airplanes. But you've also got soft skills training too, isn't that right?
Correct.
Talk about that a little bit.
So
We should say life skills training.
Yeah.
For important
Right,
skills.
right. Life skills training, and we call
Uh-huh.
them the Army values,
Uh-huh.
leadership, honor, integrity, all that type of stuff. Each soldier is equipped with that. They have to understand that. So a lot of organizations, a lot of schools, they may have problems with maybe developing leaders in students or making sure there is integrity with the students. So how do we go about implementing what the soldiers learn to the high school curriculum? We try to equate what the high schools or other schools already do into what we can provide. So for example, every school is required to do harassment, intimidation, and bullying training. Oftentimes a school might have to pay for an individual to present the program. The individual who presents it might be someone that's maybe not as young or as connected to the students as what we can provide with recruiters. Our average recruiter is in their later 20s to early 30s. So they have more of a less of an age gap and can provide information. So we work with the schools to provide within, and that's what part of our partnership with New Jersey School Board Association. We work with them to help us with curriculum development and to talk to them about, here's the resources we have, how can we fit these into what the school is already doing so we could really be a true resource without being an additional burden.
Yeah.
So harassment, intimidation, bullying, providing the resources for that, whether it's the curriculum that the school provides or one that we work out together. Resiliency is another course that we work with. Each soldier is taught resiliency. And we have trainers that go to resiliency training. So whether it's an educator, him or herself, or the students, we could help teach them resiliency. We're also implementing leadership team building kits, a leadership reaction course. Back earlier this year, we took a group of 60 educators to our Fort Dix for the leadership reaction course and had them work together as a team to overcome literal obstacles. So it creates this better dynamic and a better workforce. All of that done for free with resources that we can provide.
And, and that's interesting because most schools haven't got those resources. They have those programs. They
Right.
don't even know they exist.
Hardly any schools. I
No,
mean, even
that's
schools with
incredible.
ROTC programs don't
Right.
have these resources.
And the schools that do have JROTC programs, we work hand in hand.
You
with
work
those
hand in hand with them.
programs.
So, I
Right.
mean, this is just broadens even that experience, which is
Right.
terrific.
And we can bring this training to the schools, or we can do it on site,
Right.
on the military base.
Either way.
That's
So
important.
we
They
can
can come
do
to you, you can go to
students'
them.
field trips or educators, administrators' field trips for their professional development as well.
Great.
So-
Okay, and that brings us to a subject we discussed during the break, Military Opportunities Day. Maybe Giovanna, you can talk a
Sure.
little bit about that?
Sure. Military Opportunities Day is an initiative that we started a couple of years ago. And the idea behind it is to ensure that all young men and women in the state are informed of the military pathway as a possible post-secondary option. In our area, in the Northeast in general, the college for all philosophy is predominant. And most of the times, the military pathway and other career pathways may not be included when
Right.
counseling young men and women in schools. So we just want to make sure that this information gets out there, that they deserve the information, at least to receive the information. And of course,
Right.
it's their choice to do what they need to do with that. So the Military Opportunities Day, or MOD, is a 45-minute presentation that we offer to all juniors and seniors, to all, again, high schools in New Jersey, and actually we're spreading that to Pennsylvania side as well. And
Okay.
we're working with the Senate to make sure that's implemented. And again, it's conducted by all services of the military. It's not exclusively an Army campaign. And again, and another thing that I think it's important to highlight is that it's not a strictly military presentation, but we like to consider it more of a career orientation, career planning, where
It's really more of a career day. kind of
career day
experience.
where we talk about the new economy, what are the challenges that college graduates or high school graduates face to find a job, what's really needed besides a college degree. Of course, the college degree is a must, but it may not be enough nowadays.
Right.
So we try to raise awareness of the new challenges that millennials are facing. And we say, hey, maybe the military could be a nice competitive edge, a competition strategy that you can use to earn those skills that you may need besides your college degree. So it's a broad presentation that we encourage all schools to schedule. In support of that, we had a state proclamation. Started last year, but we had it again in September of 2017 that encourages all public schools in the state to offer that.
This is signed off not just by members of the military, but by civilian community leaders.
Correct. Well, we had the actual state proclamation that's supported by the Lieutenant Governor's office, and then we also had a letter of support signed by 6 education organizations in the state.
Non-military.
Non-military, endorsed by the School Boards Association, and they try to engage other associations, and they all embraced the idea and signed this letter in support of the MOD presentation in schools.
What's important to me, especially when we're talking about kids who maybe are in middle school, high school, and are poised to make a very important decision at some point, what to take in college or what to become when they grow up. Exactly. Most learning is by emulating role models. The more people who've made decisions that are presented to kids as role models, the more comfortable they become with making that decision themselves. When they see other people who have chosen a career, they become more inclined to choose a career for themselves, and it shifts them from being a student to being an adult. It kind of ushers them into that next stage of their lives, and I think that's a real opportunity.
Ultimately, with Military Opportunities Day, we understand completely that the military is not for everybody. It isn't. Only 3 out of 10 people qualify. Maybe that's medical related. Maybe that's other issues or what have you. But it also might not be for that student right now.
Right.
So what we want is for students to have that opportunity to understand, hey, look, something happens to me after high school, maybe it's you're in college and you realize those bills are adding up and you can't afford to go to that college. We want you to be able to think, oh man, I had that briefing back in high school about the military, and they have student loan programs, tuition assistance programs. Maybe it's good for me now.
Maybe that's a good thing for me now, now that I know about it.
We're doing an injustice right now, and we have in the past, as educators, what have you, for not just simply providing the information to students. Again, with Military Opportunities Day, there is absolutely no obligation for any of those kids to join the military. We really honestly just want to provide the information. So if they're in a challenging situation in the future, or if they want to advance their career or gain relevant experience, we can help them do that, and they can understand that military is honestly here to help them with that.
That's
Give
important.
them an opportunity. That's kind of a snapshot of what real life's about.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really it.
Or earns credentialing and certificates that nowadays are so important.
And
They
expensive.
can do that in various career fields.
Okay, we're coming up on that part of a program where you get to tell everybody how to reach you and how they can help you, or how you can help them. Before we do that, though, I want to explore a little bit with you, Mike. You mentioned that you're also connected to the business community as well as to the educational community. Maybe you could talk about those kinds of partnerships.
So, doing advertising and public affairs and public relations for the Army, we do a lot more. We work with educators a lot. We work with the schools, but we also want to work with local community. We want to work with local businesses. Directly with the New Jersey School Board Association, we've already had meetings where we come together with local businesses that we've partnered with to both discuss how can we, as entities, not just the government, but what do other services provide in the community that can help schools, and how can we work together to present these opportunities to high schools. A lot of businesses want to make sure that students, just like the Army, that students who are graduating from high schools and continuing on to whatever post-secondary education are pursuing the correct paths to be developed in a way that can make them good, resourceful employees at that company. So we could work together to do that. The Army has a couple programs. We have Partnership for Youth Success. That program works with local businesses. In the past year, we signed up Toys R Us, New Jersey Transit, American Water. We've worked with different companies to, what ends up happening is they offer a job interview to a reservist or a veteran. So increasing that veteran hiring pool, increasing your connection with the military, that's helping companies as well, because they're realizing if I get a veteran, that's someone who comes with a certification, comes with relevant experience, comes with those soft skills we were just talking about. So that's worthwhile to companies to pursue as well. So
Yeah,
that's what we
absolutely.
offer in different ways. There's also monetary support and sponsorships, whether it's in the education side or with businesses in different events or career fairs or career-oriented events. We can assist with monetary support.
Yeah, it's
Tremendous
great.
resource.
Right.
It's fantastic.
Okay, we're at that part of our program where you get to speak right into the camera and tell everybody how they can reach you so that you can help them. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Michael Halloran. I can be reached at 732-408-4427. My email address is michael.j.halloran.civ@mail.mil. It's a mouthful, but we'll provide that
That'll be on
information
the
for
screen.
you. Or you could also go to our website, competition-strategies.com, and just click on Contact Us, and we'll reach back out to you.
Thanks, Mike. Giovanna?
Yes, and I'm Giovanna Cristiano Hansen, and can be reached at 732-408-4408. My email address is giovanna.c.hansen.civ@mail.mil.
Thank you both, Michael and Giovanna. Thank you both for joining us today.
Sure
And
thing.
thanks to all of you for joining us on this special episode of DisruptEDtv. We hope some of the ideas that you heard today from Mike and from Giovanna could be useful in your classroom or your school. My name is Alcini,
I'm Joe Asamendi.
and we hope to see you again on a future episode of DisruptEDtv.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much. It was
Thank
great.
you.
Really great.
See you next time.
Terrific.
Thank you so much.